Hold tight, because the internet has locked onto a new obsession, and tonight it has names, faces, and a spark that won't quit. Yaman and Demet Özdemir. After their latest public appearance, the entire social sphere erupted, Instagram feeds saturated with reposts, TikTok edits multiplying by the second, and Twitter climbing to a fever pitch, crowning them, without hesitation, the style couple of the moment. One glance at the images and you see why. Nothing about their presence felt accidental. Their looks were polished yet lived in, coordinated without feeling forced, and every accessory seemed to say, "We planned this, yes, but we're still just us." The cameras met them at the curb, where the city lights threw a shimmer across Demet's face as she stepped out with that luminous confidence her fans know so well. Her outfit was modern and softly sculpted, the kind of silhouette that didn't shout yet somehow captured the entire street's attention. It framed her glow in a way that drew warm speculation into certainty. She wore her pregnancy with grace, and the design seemed tailored to celebrate it. Beside her, Kim balanced the visual story with sharp lines and subtle flair, handsome in a suit that didn't fight for attention so much as underline his presence. The open collar, the sleek watch, the well-chosen shoes, he stood as the quiet harmony to her spotlight, the perfect complement in a picture that felt almost too cinematic to be real. Within minutes, photos of their arrival ricocheted across fan pages. You could feel the current shift as comment sections filled with admiration. Fans wrote that they couldn't stop staring at the way their ensembles spoke to each other, his refined confidence meeting her radiant ease. Fashion editors slid into the conversation too, praising the tonal coordination, the texture play, the delicate jewelry that winked when Demet laughed. It wasn't just about the clothes, though. The angles caught in each frame told a softer story, Ken leaning in to ask if she was comfortable, his hand hovering protectively at the small of her back as they navigated the crush of flashes. When Demet tilted her head to whisper something, their smiles folded into one another, and even the most skeptical onlooker had to admit that it wasn't posing. It was connection. TikTok turned their exit from the car into a multi-part saga. One clip, set to a romantic piano loop, zoomed in on the way Ken adjusted Demet's sleeve before they faced the photographers, an intimate gesture that became a whole conversation in the comments. Another edit spliced together moments from different angles. The quick shared laugh when a fan shouted their names at the same time, the tiny nod Demet gave when Ken offered his arm, the way their fingers brushed as they turned. Watch enough of the edits and it begins to feel like you were there, a witness to something sweet and surprisingly open. Meanwhile, fashion accounts on Instagram ran carousel posts with detailed breakdowns of their looks, the fabric's fall, the shoe choice, the subtle echo of color in Demet's clutch and the trim of Ken's jacket. People loved the idea that nothing felt overproduced. It wasn't a sterile campaign where every breath is choreographed. Instead, they gave off the energy of a pair who knew what they liked, trusted their taste, and let the night unfold without tension. The atmosphere around them hummed with calm. That confidence, their shared rhythm, became the most stylish thing of all. A few seconds of behind-the-scenes footage slipped onto stories later. Kim guiding Demet to a less crowded corner so she could rest for a moment between flashes, a soft touch on her shoulder as he asked if she wanted water. When she nodded, he was already moving. The clip ended on her smile when he returned, the kind that says this is home. This wasn't performance for approval, this was care, visible and simple. Fans stitched and reshared, captioning the moment with phrases like effortless and this is it. The conversation shifted from admiration for good styling to something more personal. People saw them as a template for how to show up for your partner in a world that moves too fast. As one viral tweet put it, it's not just what they wore, it's how they inhabited it together. Their body language did the talking. When a reporter called out a question that made the crowd chuckle, Demet squeezed Ken's hand once, barely there. And he answered with the relaxed charm that has always been part of his public persona. Even their pauses felt choreographed by instinct. Every snapshot carried a narrative, poise, trust, and a hint of mischief that kept the mood light. By the time they reached the photo wall, the buzz had moved from venue to feeds, where trends were naming them the pair to watch this year. In the hours that followed, edits evolved from single moments into stories. Fans pulled together timelines. The coordinated accessories, the shared glances, the soft touches, the steady protective gestures. Commenters noted that Demet's look honored her pregnancy without reducing her to it. She was not an announcement in fabric, but a woman who happened to be expecting and still entirely herself. Can's style, meanwhile, reflected a man who understood that spotlight can be shared. He seemed to anchor the scene while letting her shine. The chemistry between them didn't demand attention. It quietly earned it. That's what felt different, authenticity wrapped in elegance. Fashion insiders chimed in with predictions. Some argued this single appearance would steer silhouettes for months, especially for couples dressing together. The concept of coordination, they said, was moving beyond obvious matching into a softer echo, tones that talk to each other, accessories that reference the other's details, micro-textures that meet in the middle. It's a trend that feels like conversation, not costume. And Can and Demet wore it as if they'd invented the language. What made the night resonate even more was the way it felt both elevated and human. There was glamour in the camera flashes and the polished silhouettes, but there was also a relaxed charm in how they reacted. Demet's laughter never seemed performed, it rang out bright and short, then melted into a private smile with Can. He didn't grandstand. Instead, he made space. When she adjusted a strand of hair, he leaned closer. When he spoke with a journalist, she gave him room, then rejoined with a touch on his arm. It felt like a dance they'd been doing for years, and the audience simply caught a glimpse of a rhythm that exists behind closed doors. As clips and captions spread, so did the heartfelt reactions. People shared stories of their own relationships in the comments, describing how they look for that same kind of unspoken understanding. Others posted side-by-sides with previous appearances, noting how this one felt particularly special, richer, calmer, more certain. Fans talked about growth, about timing, about how two people can come into alignment in a way that turns a red carpet into a love letter without a single scripted line. The digital crowd became a chorus, and the refrain was simple: "This is the standard now." If you listened closely to the audio tracks captured between question and click, you could catch soft exchanges. Demet asking, "Are you cold?" And Can answering, "Not at all, are you?" The way she murmured, "I'm good, promise," and he nodded like that promise could move mountains. These little pieces weren't meant for headlines, but they found their way there anyway, because people were hungry for something sincere. It's the kind of narrative that doesn't need a press release or an exclusive. Just a few seconds of real. Editors and stylists, ever eager to define the moment, started using phrases like modern classic and romantic restraint. They praised the balance of tailored edges with soft drape, the decision to avoid anything too flashy, the refusal to crowd the frame with aggressive trends. There was intention, but not effort written across their choices, and that paradox is what turns a simple appearance into a touchstone. On Twitter, a thread mapped out how Demet's look could influence maternity style, emphasizing comfort that reads as luxury. Another thread broke down Can's silhouette as the blueprint for quiet confidence: minimal lines, clean fit, one detail that catches light at just the right angle. Naturally, the speculation spun forward. If this is the standard, what comes next? Fans urged them to keep leaning into coordinated accents, predicting a wave of colors that would mirror changing seasons. A hint of amber in autumn, a string of winter pearls, spring blues that reflect sky after rain. The idea isn't that they'd match, but that they'd speak a shared language, and in doing so, they'd outline a trend that others will follow without knowing who started it. This is how fashion moments become timelines, with a couple who makes coherence look like affection. But beyond the style vocabulary and the idea boards, it's their closeness that won the night. When a fan nervously asked for a photo, Can stepped aside with an easy grin and made sure Demet had space. She tucked her hair, smiled gently, and said, "Of course." Then he angled the camera for the best light, joked that he does this professionally now, and the fan left with a memory she'll pull up whenever she needs to believe that grace exists in real life. That clip made its rounds too, confirming what everyone was already saying: their warmth is not a rumor. Every time a new angle surfaced, the narrative deepened. In one, Demet rests her hand on the curve of her belly and Can's eyes soften. Blink and you might miss it, but the sympathetic warmth is unmistakable. In another, he leans close as if to shield her from the chaos for a second, and she nods, steadying herself just by meeting his gaze. This is what it looks like when two people build a small, private world in public, no grand declarations, just steady care. The momentum didn't slow after midnight. More outlets weighed in, calling them a masterclass in polished ease. A morning show segment ran clips of the night paired with commentary that described their appearance as a quiet victory, a reminder that style has heart when there's something real beneath the gloss. Magazines updated headlines, swapping in words like glow and harmony and presence. By sunrise, their names had cemented a new chapter online. Not just actors, not just stars, but a couple who could tilt the day's conversation with one walk down a carpet. Of course, whenever a tidal wave like this hits, there's a counter-current, the suggestion that images are images and that we shouldn't read too much into them. And sure, that's part of it. But then another behind-the-scenes clip slipped into the stream, Demet adjusting Can's collar with a soft laugh, Can brushing a wisp of hair behind her ear as if he's done it 1,000 times. Those details don't belong to a PR plan, they belong to a rhythm you can't manufacture. The resistance faded into silence, because even the most careful skeptics make room for the possibility that some things are exactly what they look like. What sets this appearance apart is a perfect balance, elegance with ease, composure with warmth, intimacy without oversharing. Nothing about it felt like a commercial, yet it could have sold the idea of romance to a world that's seen too much and trusts too little. Their presence turned a public moment into something that felt personal for everyone watching. It's the paradox of celebrity at its most generous, to stand before millions and still seem to be speaking to one person at a time. From there, the conversation widened. Stylists posted mood boards inspired by their palette. Couples added reference shots to shared albums. Fan edits layered their laughs over gentle music and let the sound spill into a montage of glances and touch. Suddenly, people who'd never paid attention to what two people wore on a given night were bookmarking looks and writing notes like, "This is how I want to feel." That's the kind of influence you can't fake. If you follow the threads long enough, you'll see a consensus forming. This could be the pair that defines how celebrity couples approach style this year. Not through shock value, but through coherence. Not through noise, but through clarity. With every new photo, every tiny video, every grainy clip snatched from the edge of a crowd, the story only grows. People aren't just waiting to see what they wear next, they're waiting to feel that atmosphere again, the one that hums with a soft certainty and makes strangers feel invested. And so the anticipation builds. Every time Can or Demet posts a teaser, a mirror selfie, a zip sound, the corner of a garment bag, comments flood in. Will they go softer next? Sharper? Will there be another echo between his watch and her clutch, between her neckline and his lapel line? When the next outing arrives, the internet will be ready with eager eyes and quick hands, spinning new edits, framing new moments, writing new captions that capture the old truth. That style is communication, and love, when it's genuine, is the most compelling story of all. As always, we're watching closely. This isn't just a one-night trend, it's the start of a narrative that keeps evolving every time they appear. We'll be here to catch it all, the new color stories, the subtle jewelry choices, the pauses that say more than words, the laughter that softens the edges of the night. Whether you followed them from their earliest days or you stumbled onto this chapter by chance, you can feel it, the standard has been set. Romance with quiet conviction. Elegance without strain. A touch of magic that never asks permission to be seen. So stay tuned. As the buzz continues, as the edits multiply, as stylists and fans join the chorus with their own takes and tributes, we'll keep bringing you every update worth saving. Every breathtaking frame, every heartwarming exchange, every surge of comments that proves people still believe in something simple and beautiful. Consider this your reminder that some moments earn their place on the timeline because they make us look again, feel again, and remember what grace looks like. Here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we'll be right here for the next reveal, the next gasp, The next round of applause for Yaman and Demet Özdemir. The couple rewriting the quiet rules of style, one genuine moment at a time.